the relationship with China is a major stabilizer in all these sectors. First, it is an enabler in areas of infrastructure that will allow us to lower our costs. So that means that they are able to produce infrastructure, bridges, rails, highways, whatever you wish, at generally 30 to 40% lower cost than other countries, as testified to by data from the World Bank itself. It has also helped us increase the reach of our telcos by double since the start of the Duterte administration, both in area and in speed, and in a manner that is very cost effective. If we are going to see even the countries that were asked to stop using Chinese products in Europe, Germany, France, Italy, are beginning to go back, and other countries as well, because they're finding that the cost difference is just way too high. Even the US companies that are asked not to use chips from China are forced to ask their government to allow them to continue to both supply chips as well as use chips, because the cost difference is as much as 2/3 difference. So that's from an enabler viewpoint. But aside from that, as an investor also, the countries that have been able to continue their economic relationships have found that the investments that are coming from China, not just financing, but actual investments, as well as donations, are very substantial. If we're going to look at it, China has invested in the last 2-3 years tens of billions into our neighbors. We can see invested or financed, whereas given the flagship programs that the US went and presented to the ASEAN, was a little disappointing when they presented that in total they are going to give $350 million assistance to be distributed among all the countries. So it's a very fractional and relationship. In many of them have a lot of attached conditions to them, as well as recently in Africa. I think President Biden had made a mistake in the speech, promising $350 billion, turned out to be $350 million, and also that divided among all the African nations together. So all friends are welcome, small gifts, big gifts, and beyond the gifts, we have to look at what do we do to make use of them. It's ourselves, no? What we use, even if we have very little, if we are going to, how we are going to spend our time, how are we going to spend our resources. So aside from being able to provide a counter inflation because of all the lower cost goods, if we look at the cell phones coming from the US, they all going to go higher in prices. They're now averaging 50,000-60,000 pesos a phone, as much as 100,000. But the Chinese phones are coming down, and they're enabling our farmers and lower classes to join the digital market. They are also a market for our goods, which I'm sure that all our traders and manufacturers know. They continue to be our top market for exports, second to the top market for our exports all the time, and growing very fast, even during the pandemic. So this is from the economic and from the political end. With all these efforts of some superpowers to try to fragment the world, it's good to continue to have direct relations with all parties, and have relations that are multidimensional, so that any wrinkles can be seen as minor portions of the relation, and we move forward, continue to move forward, despite whatever the fluctuations or storms that come.
We'll get back later on the economic front. Thank you for that insights and analysis,